think when I started, I didn't have words for my experience. I didn't really know how to put words to what I felt, or wasn't sure that I felt anything. A good bit of dissociation, a good bit of checking away from the current moment. Um, and so not being present for a good portion of my life. I could consider it afterward, but in that moment, like making a decision on the fly, knowing what I wanted, did I want to go or not? Whatever, I don't know. There was a lot of work to do in just knowing what my experience and knowing my yes and my no and those sort of things. Uh, and that was moved into really being able to be more truthful with myself and others. I In a way that ended up just feeling like love. Being truthful even in the prickly things, because who wants to be lied to? And learning to speak in a way that's attuned, that takes into account the other person and myself. Um, just opened an entirely new way of living.
I immediately smile when I try it on. Like there's something of the way you describe the learning that sounds so nutritious. Like it was, like it fed you. And now you're just like, oh man, that was a great meal. And like now like you're swimming in that meal like a lot, or you have that.
Yeah. It was hard. It was hard to, like every developmental thing. In some ways, I felt like I grew a self. I mean, I had a self, but I grew a more congruent, attuned self that had a lot more ease with myself and other people, and there were lots of bumps along the way. And this practice is so simple. There are ways that it is so simple, and yet there's so much complexity in what happens through it. And as we step into it more, and it's not always easy, it can be very confronting, you know? Yeah. I'd love to hear your experience of it
Yeah.
and how it's moved.
Yeah. uh I remember after my first, so like I went to my first circle, it felt like there was a door, like a light that I felt a way more alive being with was like ignited in me. Oh, like I remembered when I was a little kid and I'd look out the window up at the stars, and there'd be some way where I'd like slow down a bit and I'd feel like really clear with my thoughts. But it's like I had no idea how to get back to that spot consistently at all. And there was some way where it was like this practice unlocked me tapping into like a clarity and presence with others, which I was like, oh my God, like that's so cool. And a big theme that's like I'm really savoring after the retreat last weekend is the how different it is to try you on and to like really feel into what it's like to be you from the perspective of you, versus like I used to uh read people and I would have some sense of what it seemed like they were at, but I wasn't really trying them on. It was more like, oh, I notice your like face, you seem like concerned, or but it's like I never like left or like imagined going over to their side of the conversation. And it's like I'm still just in kind of awe about how much of a shift happens in me when I do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Seeing from behind their eyes is such a different uh such a different perspective. And of course, we can't do it completely, but we can, it really does give you a whole different level of questions to ask, you know, about what's happening for somebody when go, okay, if I grew up like they did, if I know what they know about the world in this situation, and I bring what they've learned about life to this moment, well then, it's very different than me. And in other ways, entirely understandable in a way that's like, we're all human and it makes sense.